This video is a more in-depth response to Krazie316's video in which he makes a supposedly secular biological case against homosexuality. He dismissed my first video rebuttal for official response, and his reasons for doing so were because he deemed me, and I'm quoting him now, worthless and unworthy of a response. Lol. Well, Krazie316, I made a quick rebuttal to your video after I saw it late one evening, and it took me well into the early morning to get it posted. In it, I addressed a number of your points I considered to be the most important to address at the time. You, in turn, dismiss all of my points and my video in its entirety because you claim that I picked and chose them in a surreptitious manner, and therefore, because I did not address every single one of the points which you are so proud of, therefore I am worthless and unworthy of response, and you have failed to address any of the points which I make. And what makes you a hypocrite is considering that when I accused you of picking and choosing yourself by attacking SM pundits alone and only addressing the points that he tried to make in his response, while at the same time acknowledging my existence and personally and publicly insulting me, yet failing to address my points, and I called you on your bullshit, you made excuses about being in a rush to go somewhere and you don't have the time to address me. Well, today I made more time, and I made a more complete response to your video concerning a so-called secular case from biology against homosexuality. And I hope you will find the intellectual integrity and the time to do the same in turn for me. Anticipating that this video will also not be allowed as an official response, Krazie316's video is linked in the description. In the meantime, I'll address your claims point by point, and I encourage everyone who has not seen his video and allowed him to make his own case himself should go do so right now, because I'm not going to go back to his video during mine. It's already looking like it's going to be a 2, maybe 3-part video to address every single one of his points and refute them completely. We will begin with your first claim, that homosexuals drop their standards to the level of the animal kingdom to justify their immoral lifestyle. Well, it's obvious that as a Christian, you hold to the delusion that an invisible man in the sky, namely God, created humanity as higher beings than other animals, namely, in God's own image. In actuality, humans arose through the process of natural selection over millions of years and are just as much a part of the animal kingdom as any other. If you do not accept this basic tenet of modern scientific understanding, then we are not having a secular debate, but a shouting match between the value of empirical data and the stubborn superstitions of antiquity. Guess which one you are. And by the way, homosexuals don't live by a lower standard of morality than yours. They live by a different set of moral standards than yours. I know that may offend you, but your bigotry offends everyone else. You then take the argument into a murky area, where I am unsure whether you're using a strawman fallacy or a red herring fallacy, or maybe both, because of your failure to adequately explain what the argument you're refuting is and where it came from. Allow me to flesh out for you, as well as anyone else who is confused by Krazie316's failure to explain what he's refuting. I'm pretty sure what he's talking about is, and it begins, let me start from the beginning. It begins with a religious zealot, not unlike Krazie316, who tries to use the slippery slope fallacy against someone who supports homosexual marriage, and by claiming that if the law allows homosexual marriage, then polygamy and bestial marriage and all kind of crazy frickin' marriages will be allowed, and where does it end? And this argument is a logical fallacy and is wrong from the beginning. Apparently, Krazie316 had used this in some argument with someone we presume was a supporter or a sympathizer with homosexual civil rights and gay marriage, and this person, who is unnamed, apparently tried to claim that, well, you don't have to worry about that because animals can't consent so you don't have to worry about bestial marriage, and so it's not an issue. And Krazie then debunks this by using a clip of the video in which a dog is humping its master and clearly shows that animals can consent to relationships with humans. He uses this example as a starting point for the introduction to the concept of confused instinct, which is the core of his case against the existence of homosexuality among other animals. Unfortunately for himself, he concludes this introduction by stating that the dog humping its master has nothing to do with homosexuality, which was a pondersome statement, which I think he rather misspoke in trying to insult further the person that he was trying to refute. He screwed up and misspoke and turned his rebuttal into one big giant red herring when, I mean, the whole thing was a straw man to begin with. Furthermore, he states, and I quote, "It's just pathetic that they try to use this argument. But you know what, Krazie? On this, I agree with you. If they, whoever they are, were making whatever argument you apparently think they were making, it would be pathetic. But it's not the proper response to the slippery slope fallacy. It is not the position of an educated or well-informed pro-civil rights advocate. And your entire rebuttal in this situation is a straw man fallacy with sprinkled red herrings on top, and it was just very difficult to make sense of. It is only today that I've finally been able to flesh out everything, and for anyone who wants to go back and watch my first short response video, it's on this point that you're going to hear me stammering and stuttering a whole lot more than I just did, because I just couldn't quite flesh out what the hell he was trying to say, because he makes it so unclear and fails to adequately explain what he was trying to refute. But let's move on. Next is one of his more outlandish claims. He makes it very quickly and in passing, but I want to stop here for a second and address it before we move on. He claims, in relation to beginning his case that he'll make when he cites biological exuberance. In passing, he claims that 90 to 100% of studies done on animals are done in captivity. I mean, really? Where did he get this number? Krazie, where did you get this number? How can you even hope to claim 100% unless you were completely ignorant of the methodology of the scientific study of biology and subsets such as zoology and ethology within biology? You were so proud of the sources you claim to cite, yet between the book Biological Exuberance and National Geographic, how did you come to this conclusion that even 90% of studies are done in captivity? It's these claims which are really important to look at. It's because when you make up these numbers, it's clear that you are being intellectually dishonest.